All right, guys, we've got a 2021 Silverado with the 5.3 liter, and he had his check engine light come on. He had it scanned. It had a P0300 code, which is a random cylinder misfire. It did not have any other cylinders. He brought it to me. I drove it, gave it just a real quick once over. I couldn't feel a misfire. It's got 108,000 miles on it. I told him, you know what, let's just start with plugs because it's due to have plugs changed anyway. And if it still has an issue, then we'll go further. But what we're going to do in this video is change the spark plugs. And I'm putting OEM plugs back in it. And I've got the best hood light. I don't know if I've shown this in a video yet. If you guys work on a lot of cars under the hood, you need one of these. This is, or at least one that runs off whatever batteries you got. I've got DEWALT tools. The nice thing about this, let me get that out of the way, is whenever you turn it on, you've got both sides that come on. That's bright, that's low, that's off. You turn it back on, comes on bright, which is typically where I want it. But whenever you hit the second button, one side or the other goes on or off or both. Since I'm working on this side first, I'm going to work on the passenger side first. I'm just going to have this side on because that side, you know, isn't doing a whole lot. Just going to conserve the battery. I don't really need a whole lot of light because it's daylight, but for the camera, it does add a little bit more light down here. I'm going to try to set the camera up so that you can get as good of a view as possible. Now, I've seen some people, they'll lift the vehicle and they'll take the wheel well liner out. I'm not seeing a reason to do that. As long as I can get the leverage to pull the plug wires off. In fact, let me go ahead and take this cover off right here. Or at least off enough to where I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to take this line off. I'm going to take this off just so that I can kind of have a little bit more room. And in case I've got to take the plug wire off at the coil, this cover will be off. It just snaps off. It is kind of being held in place with this line right here. And this is one of those style lines. Let's see, do you push in? Yep. Jiminy Christmas, damn. Anyway, let me get this line off. I got to reach in here with my finger, push in on this so that I can get this line off. Let me get, you know what? Let me get the camera set up. Go ahead. I'm just going to see if I can remove this little hose retainer just for you guys. I don't think it really is going to help me out a whole lot, but so the first thing we got to do is get the plug wires pulled off the plugs. And the way you do that is you got to twist these and then pull them. Now you do want to inspect these. They do look fine, at least this one does. And I'm trying not to get in y'all's way, but no guarantees. Now I can't really get a lot of leverage down here. There we go. I got that one without the pliers. Got that one. You want to twist and pull on the boot only. Do not pull on the wire. I am grabbing this part right here, twisting and pulling. That's just a matter of getting the plugs out. This is the plug that I'm putting in this vehicle, 41-114 ACDeleco. All right, you typically don't have to change the gap, but you do want to check them. I think 41 is what the gap was on this vehicle. I'll have to double check, but I think about 41. Both those are good. Good. And good. Might be 44. If you do have to adjust it, do not put your gapper in there and start tweaking on the center electrode. You'll damage that center electrode. This tool's got a little hole right here with a deal that you stick in here. You grab that electrode and you can pull it and pry that up. And what I typically do is, if I do need to go narrower, I'll tap it down like that. Or you can tap it down like that. Okay, these plugs are good as far as their gap. So we are going to get the old plugs out, get the new ones in. You could use a 16 or a 5/8. We're going to go 5/8 on this. We'll grab a battery. And just in case. All right. I am using my favorite ratchet for stuff like this. Where's the lever? I'm going to go ahead and put the new plugs in. We'll get them torqued down and get this side back together. So I'm just using an old spark plug boot kind of help me get the plug in here and get it started. Just kind of going by feel, making sure that I get it screwed in enough to where I know it's not cross-threaded. Doing my best to stay out of your way. Hold on, I'll get out of your way in just a minute. Now, if you're not used to putting plugs in or tightening stuff up on cars, I'm pretty sure 15 foot-pounds was the torque. I'm not going to torque them. I'm just going to snug them up about to where I think it's about right. This side's done. All these plug wires are the same as far as the same length. You do want to make sure you got a little dielectric grease in there, which these do. They still have some on there. And if you wanted to go that one extra step, you could actually change these plug wires out. Like most of these guys that bring me their stuff, they want to try to get out as inexpensive as possible. All right, plugs and wires, new plugs are back in. Original wires are back on. Now, if you're having a specific cylinder misfire, one thing you can do is swap the plug wire to a different plug, and you can also swap the coil. Swap the coil to, you know, say, let's say it was this one here that you had a misfire on, which I believe was cylinder 2. You could swap the coil to cylinder 8, swap the plug wire to, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, to 4, and then clear everything, drive it. If now you get a misfire on 4, then whatever you swap to 4 would be the problem. If it swapped to 8, then that would be the problem. Anyway, at this point, it's just a matter of putting this little cover back on. And there's just little studs that hold this back on. And then there we go. Pull on your hose or tube to make sure that it is secure, and then you're done. So, passenger side's done. Driver's side is similar. Just to make it easy on myself, well, I don't know if I want to take this off or not. Let me evaluate it. We'll figure out if we want to take this off. And again, you'll see people lifting the vehicle and taking the wheel well liner out, and that's another way you can do it. I don't want to jack the vehicle. I don't want to take the wheel well liner out. To me, there's plenty enough room to do it all from the top. Now on this side, it might be easier to take this airbox out, but we'll see. You twist the boot as you're pulling. And you'll get the plug wires off. Do not pull on the wire. All right, and again, I'm just going to kind of hand start these. Make sure they thread in 3 or 4 threads easily. All right, plug wires are all back on.
Don't forget to take your tools. Okay, completely done. Did not have to lift it, did not have to take the wheel well liner out. You can, if you want, but doing it all from the top is not that bad of an ordeal. All right. Make sure that everything is clear. I've got my pliers up there. Let's turn that light off. Okay, start it up. Make sure it's going to run. Seems to be running nice and smooth. Feels good. I'll drive it. I don't anticipate any misfires. I didn't have misfires. I couldn't feel any misfires when I drove it last week. And he didn't feel any misfires. What he ended up getting eventually was the check engine light. And let's get that off there. And he had it scanned, and it had a random cylinder misfire, P0300. And that's all it had for me too. Maybe I'll put that up on the screen so you can see it, which is just a random cylinder misfire. Now that can mean a lot of things, not just plugs, but you can see this vehicle's got 108,000 miles on it. So I said, you know, it's due for plugs anyway, since it is not bad enough to determine a specific cylinder or cylinders that are misfiring. Let's put some plugs in it, see what happens. That may fix it. If it does, you're done. If not, we can dig a little deeper into it. And like I said earlier, you can also swap the plug wires or the coils around. So if you did have a specific misfire, like a 302 or a 304, meaning that that's either cylinder 2 or cylinder 4, you could take the plug wire, put it on a different cylinder, and take the coil and put it on a different cylinder and see if it stays in the same spot or if it follows. And that's actually a good way, without any kind of diagnostic equipment, to determine whether you have a coil, plug wire, of course, depending on what you're going to do with your plugs. If it stays in the same spot, it'd be worth pulling that plug out and taking a look at it. You can also swap plugs if you really needed to, but based on mileage, this truck needed plugs anyway. Anyway, we're done. This was a 2021 Silverado. This is the 5.3. Had a random cylinder misfire. And I think I said this at the beginning of the video, that from last week to now, it did not set that P0300. It was still clean. I scanned it, and there was no codes at all. So he drove it for a week, every single day, back and forth to work and everywhere, and it did not set that random cylinder misfire. So that just goes to show you just how minor it is. Anyway, we're done. You guys take care. We'll see you.